Sleep is the absolute foundation for success in life. Without good sleep, every single minor inconvenience just seems to be a huge upward battle. Whether that's trying to go to the gym before work, whether that's trying to go to the gym after work, whether that's trying to work on your side hustle once work is done, when your 9 to 5 is finished. Getting to the end of the day with no energy is just awful. So I'm going to talk to you about sleep, how I optimize my sleep. There are many different ways, and you have to wait till the end to get a little hidden gem that not a lot of people mention. Everyone talks about the supplements and the gear and the environment, but I've got some beauties for you at the end. So if you see the timestamps, you can skip to it if you want, but stay tuned for that. So it's a little bit paradoxical when it comes to sleep, because spending money on sleep with supplements, with getting the environment right, might seem like a bit of a hindrance to some people, but like I said, it's paradoxical, because if you spend money on sleep and you get better sleep, and then you go to work and you can work harder, you can work smarter, you can work longer, then in the long run, indirectly, you're going to get a pay rise, you're going to be getting praise, or if you're working on your side hustle, or you want to work on a side hustle to escape a 9 to 5, and usually you don't have energy after work, then spending money on getting better sleep means you got more energy, means you got more energy to work on that other stuff, which in the long run could make you more money. So like I said, a bit paradoxical, spend money, but you make more money. And today, with the handy MacBook I've got here, I'm going to discuss a lot of ways in how to optimize sleep and how I personally optimize my sleep. And there's nothing objective here. I used to have a Garmin watch which told me my sleep quality, but I found that I was very much ruled by the metrics. I didn't want to, if I woke up and it said poor sleep, I'd be like, oh, today's going to be shit. So I don't do that anymore. A lot of this is subjective and how I feel, but I personally have gone from struggling to wake up and get out of bed to waking up before my alarm usually and being ready to get out of bed. And that is thanks to all these tips I'm going to tell you. So a lot of people try and major in the minors. They try and find every little magic pill that's going to help them sleep better. But I'm going to start this list off with how I optimize my sleep, and I'm going to give you sort of like the unpaid, easy things that you can implement today, where you don't have to go out and buy supplements, you don't have to buy sleep masks, things like that. I'm revealing my secrets until later, but these are just sort of environmental factors and things you can improve in your bedroom that will improve your sleep. So first thing is that the bedroom is for sleep only. Sleep and, only. No TV. When I moved out personally, I didn't put a TV in my bedroom. No TV in there, just some books. And also no working in bed. So obviously no TV, because we don't want blue light in our eyes before we sleep. We don't want to look at screens, and also just it's hard to switch off, and it's very easy to say just another show, just another episode of this show, just another episode, but you'll soon find that it's 1 in the morning and you've got to be up at 6. So no TV in the bed. It's a bit hard to adjust to if you're used to it, but personally I find it very impactful on my sleep. And yeah, no working in bed, or even anything else to do with like browsing, using your laptop, because it's very hard for your body to distinguish between when it's time to sleep and when it's time to work. If you're laid in your bed 12 hours a day on a laptop, and then you have to make that mental shift of, okay, it's time to sleep now, how are you doing that? There's no sort of stimulus that's allowing your body to realize, okay, it's time to sleep, because you've been laying horizontally all day. And now you still got to go, okay, now I'm going to lay horizontally. Well, you already have been. So yeah, sleep only. No TV, no working. Secondly, on the bedroom is to make it cool. Now I've got some stats here. I don't do this, but my bedroom's cold, especially in the winter. It's fucking freezing. So having a cool bedroom, and because of that, your body needs to drop a couple of temperatures before you go to sleep. So if it's really hot in your room, you're going to struggle to sleep. So the stats I've got here: 15 to 20 degrees if you can make your room that, Celsius. And for all you Freedom Unit users, 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit is a good temperature for your room. Obviously I don't have an AC unit or anything like that. I just rely on the trusty English weather. So yeah, cool room is very important. And on top of that, having the room blacked out curtains if you can, because we don't want light, we don't want external factors, light going into our eyeballs through our eyelids while we're trying to sleep. And if you can't, I'm going to get on this shortly, because I said nothing that you have to pay for yet, but if you can't, obviously we can use a sleep mask. But yeah, blacking out the room is very good. And also, if you share a bed with someone, if you're lucky to do so, Then separate covers is something I've heard a lot about recently. Just because, again, external factors affecting your sleep. If you're under the covers with someone and they pull on it and it wakes you up, it's just going to disrupt your sleep. So if you have separate covers, all good. If you can't, I understand that, you know, we all want to get intimate sometimes, but yeah. So that's your environment and how to set your environment up for success. Just to recap, bedroom for sleep only, no TV, no work, a cool room, a blacked out room, and also not sharing the covers with someone else if you can. So I'm now going to give you a few systems, a few things you can use to actually improve your sleep. If you've got those first bits nailed, this is where we go. So something I've heard recently is being coined the 3-2-1 method. I personally have been implementing this for a long time anyway, but now I've heard a name for it. So no eating food 3 hours before bed. The reason for this is because food takes energy to digest, and generally when you're trying to sleep, you just want to be focused on trying to sleep. If your body's trying to digest a huge meal and you're also trying to sleep, the two things are going to conflict. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I can eat a huge meal and go straight to bed. Yes, you can, but the quality of your sleep is going to be affected. Number 2 is no liquids 2 hours before bed. Again, there's nothing really inherently bad about this. It's just that if you are someone who is prone to waking up in the night, then we don't want to disrupt those REM cycles. We don't want to disrupt our sleep. If you're waking up in the night to go to the toilet, then preventing this might be doable by not drinking liquids for 2 hours before bed. Again, if you need to sip on something because you're hydrated, sure, but don't be guzzling down a litre of water before bed. And then the 1 is no screens 1 hour before bed. Now, I totally appreciate that's difficult, but you're just trying to switch from that, you know, excited state to a calm state. And having screens, doom scrolling, TikTok, Instagram, social media, it's going to give your brain alert. Again, it's emitting that blue light. So ideally, no screens an hour before bed. Try and read, try and journal, try and meditate. I appreciate it's not always possible, but that is the environment. If you cannot do no screens before bed, and also, I just sort of use these anyway, blue light blocking glasses, these bad boys, what do I look like? Am I ready for Milan Fashion Week? I don't know if that's a thing anymore. But blue light blocking glasses, so blue light is what the sun emits, as far as I'm aware. And blue light also comes from our screens. So, the blue light from the sun tells us that it's daytime. Be alert, be awake. So when the sun goes down, if you're still looking at screens and getting that same light, albeit not to the same degree as the sun, but your body's going to be alert, it's going to be thinking it's still daytime, we need to be alert, we're not going to sleep yet, you know. Our brains haven't evolved into a hunter-gatherers, so it's daytime, we're out there hunting for some fresh saber tooth. So yeah, I put these on when it starts to get dark, and I found that it's very helpful, because obviously the blue light prevents melatonin from being produced, or prevents the right amount being produced, so you're not sleepy. So if you start putting these on when it starts getting dark, you will see a whole load of difference in your sleep quality and your ability to fall asleep and your ability to feel sleepy before going to bed. Something I mentioned before is the eye mask. If you're like me and your blinds let in a lot of light, then you can use this. You can buy blacked out curtains, I think, but I rent, so I'm not really going to make any adjustments to the decor. So I bang this on, and that is truly no light coming in. Again, you just don't want things, external factors disrupting your sleep. If you can have your eyes covered by this, if there's a lot of light being let in, then you're onto a winner. And then this one is a real game changer. So we know that mouth breathing is not good for many different reasons. So if you can breathe through your nose, very good. Now, no affiliation to this company, this is Breathe Right, but these are nose strips. Now, I'm not going to get it out because I don't want to put it on, but it's just like a strip, I'm sure you've seen it, and you put it over your nose, and essentially what it does is like opens it up like that. Keep it on overnight, and again, that's going to promote nasal breathing, it's going to prevent you from snoring, sleep apnea, things like that, and it's just going to make your sleep quality a lot better. If you are a mouth breather, try and fix that ASAP. And yeah, this is what will really help. I have heard people say they use mouth tape, so this opens up the nose and then tape the mouth shut. You do kind of look like a maniac And I did try it a few times, but with my beard, I just find that during the night, the tape slips off. I'm sure there's a solution out there for tape that sticks over your beard. I don't want to do that and then pull it off and look like I'm, you know, whatever. But I think I nasal breathe anyway during the night because I don't snore. Also, I've been told. Sometimes I've been told I snore. But yeah, these are very good. You can get them cheap. I think these were like 10 quid for 30. So quite expensive, I guess. But there are off brands that do them a lot cheaper. So yeah, nasal breathing, mouth tape, and then eye mask. And you could also use earplugs if it's really loud. Again, it's just those external factors. Realistically, when you go down to sleep, you want to be out for the night. You don't want disruptions every hour. You don't want things waking you up. So if you live in a neighbourhood that's loud, or if you live in somewhere that is letting a lot of external factors in, like light and sound, then you can use earplugs. I personally have never used them, so I can't say how well they work. But again, I imagine it's exactly like the light. If it's going to prevent external factors from disrupting your sleep, that's the name of the game. And one thing I do want to touch on is that a good nighttime routine starts with a morning routine. So waking up, getting sunlight in your eyes as soon as you wake up, try and go on a walk in the morning before work, before you need to go out, get that sunlight in. I appreciate I walked this morning and the sun wasn't even out, so I know it's difficult. I know there are lamps, again, not use them, so I'm not going to promote them, but I know there are lamps that you can use. I'll have a look when I'm editing this and put them over, but yeah, you want to be getting sunlight in your eyes earlier. Your circadian rhythm is in check. It knows, okay, this is the time I need to be awake, and then it's going to know with your internal body clock, you know, how many hours you need to go to sleep. So, now I'll quickly go on supplements. I don't know how loud or annoying that is. I'm trying to be professional. I'll have them off screen. So, magnesium glycinate, absolutely fantastic mineral for sleep. I use zinc too. They go well together. Sometimes we've seen ZMA, which is zinc and magnesium. And I also use ashwagandha. Fantastic. And there's also L-theanine, which I know is really good for sleep. Again, personally, I have not included it in my supplement stack yet, which I'm going to do. I'll keep you updated. But this is where it gets, you know, you start spending money. So as long as you've got all those things that I said before nailed, then you can start looking at supplements. Or if you get half of them done and you want to sort of add sort of like health insurance or, you know, an insurance against the rest of them, you can start adding supplements. So yeah, ashwagandha, perfect for recovery, reduce anxiety and stress, especially if you train hard in the gym. This is very good. Magnesium glycinate, a very good mineral, and zinc. So again, no affiliation to these. I got these off Amazon, I think. Yeah, them paired with L-theanine, perfect little supplement stack. I'm sure there are more out there. Like I use vitamin D3 and K2, fish oils and stuff like that, which are all going to help your immune system and your overall health. I just didn't think that they were particularly prevalent when mentioning a sleep stack. So yeah, those are my three. So caffeine, rip-off is this, like 3 quid in the UK. What am I doing myself? It's a very rare occurrence, but caffeine, found a random article online, 90% of the world use caffeine daily. And the world is built by people that made caffeine, not that made caffeine, that use caffeine. It's a very go world, so I appreciate the fact that everyone has to have caffeine. Now, caffeine has a half-life of 5 hours. So what that means is that after 5 hours of consuming it, half of what you consumed is still circulating your body. Now, caffeine binds to adenosine receptors, which prevents you from feeling sleepy throughout the day. And realistically, we don't want to be taking this too close to bedtime, because if you go to bed and it's still going on your system, you're not going to be sleepy, you're not going to sleep well. And a lot of people say like, oh, I can drink a Red Bull and go to sleep and sleep fine. You might fall asleep fine, but the actual quality of your REM cycles and the quality of your sleep is not going to be there. So generally, I stop caffeine at like midday if I'm going to bed at 10 p.m. So that's 10 hours before. You can probably push it to 2, 3. Again, it's all person dependent, so see how you feel. If you have got some way of tracking your sleep, albeit don't know how accurate that is, but experiment with timing of caffeine. I appreciate you always sometimes need that boost, but the way I look at caffeine sometimes is that, okay, if it's 3 o'clock and I'm knackered, I could drink some caffeine, but it's just going to be a vicious cycle because my sleep's going to be poor, and then tomorrow I'm going to wake up tired, and then it's going to get to 3 p.m. tomorrow and I'm going to need some more caffeine and I'm going to drink it. Sometimes it's good to just avoid that, be tired for a day, sleep well, and then reset that sort of cycle, and then stop taking caffeine at 12, because you're then going to get a good cycle of natural energy as opposed to synthetic energy. Now, the final thing that I'm going to mention is a beautiful little hidden gem that I find very useful, and that's called Sleep Calculator. I'm sure there are other apps out there, and I have no affiliation to this one, but if somebody wants to sponsor me, you know, holler at your boy. Sleep Calculator, we know that we sleep in 90-minute REM cycles, so if you've ever had it where you woke up at the time that you usually wake up, or you've had 8 hours of sleep, but you feel awful, versus sometimes you wake up with 6 hours sleep and you feel amazing. The reason probably is, among other variable factors, is that you're waking up at the end of a REM cycle. If you wake up in the middle of a REM cycle, you feel awful. Now, what does Sleep Calculator do? Well, Sleep Calculator takes the time that you fall asleep, you go on the website, it gives you 15 minutes to fall asleep, and then it gives you a time to wake up. Now that's based on the end of the REM cycles. So let's say you usually have to wake up at 6, and you go to bed at 9, 10 p.m, and it tells you to wake up at 5:24, for example, or the next one might be 7:05, just making it up. And you're saying, well, I need to wake up. Waking up earlier than 6 at like the 5:24 is probably going to be more beneficial for you, because you're at the end of a REM cycle, versus waking up at 6 when you just start the next REM cycle, you're going to feel groggy. So give it a go. I use Sleep Calculator. I don't know if there's an app. I used to use the website. I go on it every night because my bedtimes are inconsistent. I don't have the same bedtime. I look at it, I say, okay, I need to wake up at this time. When's the best time around that window to wake up? And then depending on what I have to do, I can either go before or after it and just pick the time and set my alarm for that time. And it's fantastic. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed all that. I know it was a lot to take in. Like I said, we started off with some easy things to implement in terms of the environment. I gave you some systems to look at. I gave you some cool little items to use to fall asleep, some supplements, and then an app that puts it all together for what time you should be waking up. Let me know if you've got any more in the comments. There are hundreds of other ways to impact your sleep in a positive way, and also in a negative way, like alcohol and stuff. But yeah, if you've got any other suggestions, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you start getting some fantastic sleep, and I shall see you in the next video.